Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with episode 72 of the JP8 Report, 3 Men and a Lie. Thank you all for tuning in to the podcast. As a reminder, don't forget, if you haven't, subscribe or follow to the podcast. Okay? And don't forget on Saturdays we have, what is it? The live broadcast. Okay, so Saturdays at 11, as sure. Saturdays at 10 a.m. I do my Rumble live for the JP8 Report. And this weekend we will have Brady Diaz, former mayor of Copper's Cove, and she is running for precinct 4, the county commissioner's court for the county of Coryell County. Okay, and so I'm going to get to talk to her for a few minutes. All righty, so that's all been arranged, all set up. We're ready to go, and you'll be interested in how she is. She's a lifelong Republican, and she's a go-getter, and she served twice as mayor of Copper's Cove. Okay, so that's your enticement, a little slight advertisement. Tune in on Saturday at 10 a.m. It will not be on Podbean or any of the syndication through Podbean or on YouTube. It is only on Rumble. All right? But I do share it out on Facebook. Okay? So 3 Men and a Lie. So this is what I'm talking about. Yesterday, President Biden went down to, I think it was yesterday, or day before yesterday. Okay, I forget. But he gave a speech in Atlanta. And he went on a tirade. Okay? He went on a tirade about voters' rights. And that was the reason why he went down there. The Democrat running for the governor of Georgia wasn't even there at the speech. And she's running for governor against Brian Kemp and Vernon Jones. And she wasn't there. But he gave a speech. I don't even know how long it was. I don't know how many people were in attendance. He had about 20 people behind him, all in masks, all stoic looking. But yeah, so I don't know how many people were in front of him because they hardly ever pan the cameras. So that make it look like a whole lot of people were there. That's a good thing about President Trump. Whenever he was at a rally, he said, "Take your cameras and turn them around so everybody can see how many people actually came out to the rally." Awesome idea. Okay, it should always happen. But he was giving this tirade speech about voters' rights. While, like here in Texas, we have it's easier to vote, harder to cheat. Okay, these guys, they want to do away with the national voter ID. So you can go to a club and have to show ID. Okay? Get on a military base, got to show ID. Get on an airplane, have to show ID. Get stopped by a police officer for speeding, you got to show ID. There are a whole slew of things you got to show ID for. If you buy cigarettes, I've never smoked a day in my life, but you got to show ID. Same thing with buying alcohol. Okay, you got to show ID. But they think it's all right for someone to be able to go in and vote and not prove who they are. Okay? Or they want everybody to be mailed a ballot, which you still don't know if that's the same person that actually voted on that ballot. No excuse mail-in balloting. Really? Okay. It's your right to vote. But you have to exercise that civic responsibility to go vote. It's free. We all know that. Okay? But you need to be able to prove who you are and where you live. I walk in to vote. It takes me 10 minutes and I'm done. And that's on a busy day. Okay, well, here in Coryell County, we have countywide elections. So I don't want to get into it. It's an awesome program. I wish more did it. Okay, but these guys want uh, not same day registration. So who's to say you be in? We'll go Georgia. Okay. Nah, we'll stay in Texas since I got this great Texas flag behind me. All right. So election day, same day voter registration. Let's say if you somehow are conniving and have two residences, one in Tarrant County, one in Dallas County, and you're registered to vote in Tarrant County, and you're like, well, you know what? Since I have a house in Dallas County, I'm going to vote and then go over to same day registration and vote there too. You're going to get caught. But the fact is, when are you going to get caught? And will the votes already be certified before you get caught? That's why we do this kind of stuff. Another thing they want to do, they want to, for all federal elections, that's $200 to $600 match. So if you give $200 to a candidate for office, it'll be matched like by $600 by the federal government. Now we're financing candidates. So history will tell you, for the vast majority, Democrats usually raise more money than Republicans. Okay? So you get some high-polluting senatorial candidate, and he's like off on a tirade. He's raising money. He raises $20 million, and he's going to get $60 million more from the federal government. Or someone running for Congress, and they raise $200,000, they're going to get $600,000 more. That's your tax dollars. If that candidate wants $600,000 more dollars, you know what he needs to do? He needs to make phone calls. He needs to type emails. He needs to talk to people and raise that money. That's what you do to get in office. Go knock on doors. Hi, my name is James. I'm running for la 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 la. Okay, that's how you do it. You block walk, you talk to people, meet and greets. Like here in Copper's Cove, on Sunday morning, 11 a.m., Lieutenant Colonel Allen West is going to be right here in Copper's Cove. Okay, over off of Avenue D at Monty's Barbecue. Oh, Monty's Old Style Barbecue at 11 a.m. So if you're in Copper's Cove, you're watching this, and I'm going to be in church. Okay, we have a revival going on all this month, so I'm going to be in church. Okay, so man, I'm seriously doing great. I saw a poll. I will get to the 3 minute line in just a second and to the rest of it. I saw a poll came out yesterday from Colonel West's campaign team, and they showed the methodology behind it. There's like 1,400 respondents to the survey. It actually showed him ahead of Governor Abbott in the primary race by 38 to 32%, and then Don Huffines was way down there at 5.17. That is something else. Okay, that is something else. So we shall see on March 1st if there's going to be a runoff or who's going to be in the runoff. All right. So let's see. 3 men and a lie. Okay, so I'm a Republican. I'm a conservative Republican. Okay? I believe low taxes, less government. I'm very pro-Constitution and very pro-Second Amendment. Okay? There's nothing about the Constitution I disagree with. If it's in that document, it's the law. There's only one higher authority than the Constitution, in my belief, and that's the Bible. Okay? So, during this speech from President Biden, he went on that tirade I was telling you about before I digressed. And it was like this. Do you want to be like Martin Luther King or Bull Connor? Do you want to be like Abraham Lincoln or Jefferson Davis? Do you want to be like George Wallace or Martin Luther King? Oh my goodness, I cannot believe he even said that. Because if you're not a student of history like I am, you would know that Bull Connor, Jefferson Davis, and George Wallace were all Democrats. Were all Democrats. Yes, even Jefferson Davis was a Democrat. So who is he trying to fool? He keeps lying. He lies to you. He lies to me. He lies to everybody over and over and over again. He actually is floating the stupid lie that the Build Back Better plan is still going to pass. And that passing this John Lewis voters' rights bill is going to actually save the American Democratic movement. Democrats are not part of the Democratic movement. Because if you look at any era in our history about the Democrats and our country, the Democrats are in the mix every time we have a problem in our country. Look at the different wars that are started, the different economic problems that have started, the civil rights stuff that started. You tell me. Okay, Lyndon Baines Johnson, when he passed the Civil Rights Act of 1964, who helped get him over the hump to get that thing passed? And if you're going to tell me, well, it was a bipartisan bill. Yeah, it was bipartisan. But it took a whole lot of Republicans to get that bill passed, just to get it passed, because there was Democrats in the Congress that did not want it to go forward. From the mid-1950s into the mid-1990s, Democrats were in charge of the House and the Senate. Sometimes with really good margins. And then to go a step further back, I believe it was from 1930 all the way up to the early 1950s, the Democrats were in charge. Sometimes with absolute majorities. And that's when FDR tried to reform the Supreme Court to get more justices on there, and he almost fell flat on his face in the 1938 elections for that lame brain little proposal he made. And they're trying the same thing again. They want to make it where they could reign by terror. They're even talking about it this morning when I was actually watching the news before I turned it off. They're still trying, well, we're going to go just like Harry Reid did, and I forgot what happened. Well, Mitch McConnell. Okay, he's a whole other story. All right, but when Harry Reid changed the filibuster rules to allow for judicial appointments by majority rule only, without being able to be filibustered. And then Mitch McConnell did the same thing in 2017. These guys actually think, all we have to do is carve out a little bit more of the filibuster so we can make this work, and then we'll put it back in place. Are you kidding me? Who in their right mind would actually believe something like that? Once you cross that bridge, like William Barrett Travis did in the Alamo, drew that line across the sun. It's victory or death. Are you with me or not? So what they're saying, let's step across the line and then we'll step right back. Let's go to the brink and then move away from the brink. Dude, Chucky Schumer, I know you're worried about being primaried by AOC. If by some chance you think it's politically astute for you to go and take away that filibuster, be my guest, because you will not like the consequences that are going to be plastered across your face when you do. And the Republicans take the House, take the Senate, and take the presidency in 2024. And if you do this, every stupid law you have plastered and punished the United States with will be gone. Because all they do is by simple vote overturn every single law that y'all did over the last 3 or 4 years, and overturn them and make them fair again. And I do know if you did that, it's tit for tat. Okay, so the Republicans do it, then eventually when the Democrats are back in power, Democrats going to do it to the Republicans. It's just like how they do with executive orders on the first few weeks of a new presidency. They goes in there and they overturns a whole bunch of the previous administration's executive orders. It is a mistake to redo the filibuster. And one more thing about the 3 men and a lie that I was just talking about. We just talked about O'Connor and Wallace and Davis are all Democrats. Well, Mr. President, if you think it's so racist for people to be like them and they're Democrats, why in the world in 1977 did you say, let's restore U.S. citizenship to Jefferson Davis, who was the president of the Confederacy back in the 1860s? And why would you think that's a fair thing to do? Like you said, once a racist, always a racist. You know what? What are you implying to the American people? But when you were a U.S. Senator back in the 70s, when I was a little kid, you voted to restore the citizenship to the leader of the rebellion that tried to defeat the United States and separate from it. Along with your best bud, Senator Senator Byrd from West Virginia that passed away several years ago. He was a member of the KKK. And y'all were really good friends. Really? Robert Byrd, even though he was a U.S. Senator, he was still associated with the KKK. You know what? I'm done with these people. They like to play these little games. I'm a Republican true at heart. I act like a Republican to the best of my ability. I'm not perfect. When you get these high-ranking Democrats out there that want to float a lie for political purposes so they can get their way and try to transform our country, our beloved country, that's a republic, and change into a socialistic country. If this bill passes, and if it does, a lot of it's going to be found unconstitutional anyway. So they're just spinning the wheels, wasting government time and government money when they could be doing something about this inflation that's enveloping the country. Oh, and if you think, well, 7% is no big deal, it's just going to go back down. Well. So the rumor has it in March, the Federal Reserve is going to raise interest rates. Now, I don't know which one of the interest rates that they're going to be raising, but when you look at it, if you have credit cards, what happens to those interest rates? Right? What if it's the federal government that owes debt and they got to make interest payments on the debt? So you go from a $450 debt payment every year to increase the interest rate, and now it goes to $490 billion or $510 billion because they raised the interest rates a little bit more. It's your money, folks. And you vote these people in office. And just like you vote them in office, you can vote them out of office. Because these little bitty benefits they keep giving to people and nickel and diming the American taxpayer and American citizen to death, it's going to affect us all. You have to take a stand and get these people out of office. Look, I founded a conservative club here in Copper's Cove. We're steadily building, okay? And one of my goals with this club is for us to recruit candidates to be able to run for public office, whether it be the school board or the city council or Central Texas College or the WCID #1 or our county government or even federal government or state government. You have to get out there, run for office, and you got to vote. You got to stand up for your rights. So the majority, the tyranny of the majority is not replicated down to the minority. You want to get out there and you want to represent your community. You get out there and do it, or you're asking for turmoil. You got all these people, especially in the Round Rock area, complaining about CRT and proper representation in the school board and stuff. But what happens? You elect the same old. Here in Copper's Cove, we have a person on the school board that's been on the school board like 24 years. 24 years on the school board. And you're saying we can't find adequate people to replace them? You just got people who won't take a stand and go out and get out there and run. You have a guy that's been quoted as the wrong end of every foreign policy decision in modern American history. That's the President of the United States, Joe Biden. Okay? People still elected him. And did they elect him to be a socialist or a protest vote? Like I said, you get what you vote for. Yeah, you might not like I saw that sound again, and I like it. You might not like the mean tweets, but on the other side of those mean tweets was action. If you're so butthurt that you can't vote for a person because they know what they're doing and you want to vote for a popularity contest, you may have a problem. Because now we're in a situation where we're facing down 3 different foreign adversaries. We got people that can't afford to live. We got businesses that are trying to stay afloat. And the history, the legacy of our democracy is at stake because you got people in Congress who want to rip it to shreds and ignore the Constitution and the courts of the land. You know, the Department of Homeland Security was supposed to produce by law, a list of the number of illegal aliens that were apprehended at the border. That, to my knowledge, that list has not been produced. Now, there's estimates out there and stuff, but that list has not been officially released to the United States Congress. And that's by law. You have a president that doesn't want to speak to the public because he's not allowed. And he said that over and over again. He keeps referring to his vice president as president. He keeps a list of people that he's supposed to call on for questions. And he said, well, I'm going to get in trouble if I don't call on this person. I thought he was the president. Really? How many press conferences, how many primetime press conferences has he given? Compare that to Obama and Trump and Bush. Are we playing a game? Who's really in charge? George Soros in charge? Is Ron Klain in charge? What are these little bitty teams they keep referring to? Both the president and Jen Peppermint Patty Psaki keep referring to. Well, our team is working on this. Is the CDC in charge of our country? Is Mr. Dr. Anthony Fauci in charge of our country? He makes $417,000 a year. Makes more money than the President of the United States of America. Who are we fooling? We're fooling ourselves. And just so you know, I did this whole podcast without any notes. Okay? That's how fed up I am about the whole situation. So, Mr. President, being a Republican doesn't make you a racist. Your attitude and your actions toward other people determine if you're a racist or not. So I don't know who's writing your stupid little speeches for you, or if you're off the cuff in it, but you need to take a look inside. All right? Remember, the Republicans won the Civil War. I'm out. See you.